Hey everybody, Scott Holden here, and before we start the show, I just want to take a minute and tell you where you can find us out on the interwebs. The best place to find us? bonecrushingjuggernaut.com. That's right, bonecrushingjuggernaut.com. And if you don't feel like typing, hey, save yourself some letters. bcjuggernaut.com will take you there. There, you can find links to subscribe to us on iTunes, on Stitcher. You can find links to our Twitter feed, where we are on Facebook, Tumblr, YouTube, all that good stuff. So please just head on over to bonecrushingjuggernaut.com for all your bone-crushing juggernaut needs. And I hope you enjoy the show.
Disclaimer. The show you're about to experience is for entertainment purposes only. The hosts use adult language in conversation, just like most of everyday life. If you are too uptight, this might not be for you. Prepare to be crushed!
And I think one of the reasons I'm standing here instead of other people is that I have deals in Russia.
I think that we could sit down and have a little chat. There are, of course, those who do not want us to speak.
To be honest, I inherited a mess. It's a mess.
The third, broadly, line of work is what is deconstruction of the administrative state.
And the truth is, there is something terribly wrong with this country.
Consistent. If you look at these cabinet appointees, they were selected for a reason. That's all going to be deconstructed.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States until our country's representatives can figure out what the hell is going on.
How did this happen? Who's to blame? Well, certainly there are those who are more responsible than others. But again, truth be told, if you're looking for the guilty, you need only look into a mirror.
Number one, I am the least anti-Semitic person that you've ever seen in your entire life. Number two, racism. The least racist person.
You know what look at my African-American over here. Look at him.
I have a great relationship with the blacks. I've always had a great relationship with the blacks.
Who are you?
Bone-crushing juggernaut.
Hey, this is going to be a lot of fun. Hey, everybody, Scott Holden, Bone Crushing Juggernaut, here with, of course, co-host Cameron Holden.
Hello.
And we have a bunch of people actually in the studio today. Without any further ado, as you can see right there from the little banner, we have a gubernatorial candidate in the house. I have to kind of lean. At some point, I'm going to see the guy. But we have Mr. Mark Zinna in the house. And hang on, let me pull this shot up. Whoa! And Pelle. What do you do?
I help Mark Zinna on the campaign with a number of different items.
You are quite a handsome man. You must. That is probably what you do. You open doors for the guy.
I do try to do that. I just stand there and wait.
Wow. Okay. Well, we're honored to have you guys both in here. And, boy, my wife is going to be missing the fact that she missed you when she sees this video. She's going to be like, where was I for him? Got a real cutie pie in the house. All right. Well, so what's it like to be running for governor in Jersey, this crazy state?
Oh,
God, we could sink our teeth in the fucking... Oh, wait, I should turn your mics on. Sorry. Up.
Am I on now?
Yes, you
Yes,
are.
you are now.
And I can balance you up, too.
Scott, thank you for having
Oh,
me here. It's
we-
wonderful. Cameron, wonderful to meet you.
It
This
is-
is great.
It is truly an honor.
You know, we brought Pelle over here. Let's talk about Pelle for a little bit. He's basically a Viking. He came to us from Denmark.
Is he legal? Do we have to worry about the ice coming in and taking him out of here? Black bagging him somewhere?
Don't worry, he's white. It's okay, he's white.
Anything is possible.
Cameron did point out the most important,
He is
the most
white, it's
important
okay.
aspect.
It's okay. He can stay for as long as he
Yeah,
wants.
Although we do hear that Canadians are being told to they might want to not come to America now. It's so weird.
I'm mixed. On
Yeah,
that.
we're in a very weird place right now, aren't we?
It's a well,
messed up.
Every day it gets scarier. Like it feels like an authoritarian takeover, Like an oligarch is being installed right around us, and we sort of don't have a say in this.
Well, it's so you started off with saying, "What's it like to be governor?" This is all about the oligarchs taking over. I mean, we've got a madman in the White House.
Yeah, we do.
If a year ago I said to you, Hillary Clinton's not going to win, Donald Trump's going to be president, you would have said that I was nuts.
You know, it was so weird. Like, I didn't think Russia could pull it off. It's really the way.
How about my favorite is, my son. My son is 12, and he likes to joke about the people who live in the microwave that stare at us every day when we're having breakfast.
Yeah. Kellyanne?
Yeah, exactly. She could be one of them.
Yes. Indeed. So, what made you want to toss your hat in? How long have you been doing this? How much money does this take? Or are you like, isn't it like money equals speech now?
Sure. So, I mean, which question do you want me to answer first? Let's start with
wherever you want.
My public service commitment really started about 1980. I had the privilege of seeing Ted Kennedy give his speech at the 1980 Democratic National Convention in New York about, the work goes on, the cause endures.
Yeah.
So that's when I got started. I've run for state assembly, got trounced by a very conservative incumbent Republican at the time, and then moved to Tenafly with my family and children. Ran for town council a couple of times, lost, finally won. I've been in town council for 2 terms now, about 6 years.
Pay attention here, son.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good story. We converted it from all Republican control to all Democratic control.
All this stuff. He wants to be. Yeah. He wants to become a public servant.
Well, Cameron, the future's about you.
Yeah, totally.
It's not about me. It's about you. You need to be involved. And the things you're doing here, this is how you're involved. You are involved, so keep going. So money. Let's talk about money in the gubernatorial race. So I had a lunch back in November with a friend of mine.
How many candidates are running now? Because I've not, in all honesty, I've not been following the race that closely. I've been paying so much attention to Trump all day.
Well, it's
that's the problem. Yeah.
It really is.
That's like a drug addiction. You've got to get weaned off of that.
It's so weird because it feels like, even though I know it's not the case, it's like, if I don't watch this guy, no one else is going to watch him.
Right.
It's so weird.
You're right. So there's 6 Democrats running and 5 Republicans. Monday was the official deadline for filing a petition. So that's the field right now. In terms of money, it's I don't want to use the word discouraging, but it's quite a battle because it's really all about how big is your checkbook. That's what it comes down to. So I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who's a former congressman back in November. Told him, hey, I'm going to run for governor for all the right reasons, public service, serve the people, okay? And he's tried to convince me what a wonderful individual Phil Murphy is. He has this quality. He has that quality.
The Goldman Sachs.
The Goldman Sachs oligarch. But then he said to me, and he has $10 million he's going to put in the campaign.
You know what makes good candidates?
What?
Competition.
There you go. And so I said to my friend, the congressman, well, what if I told you I have $11 million and I'm going to put it into campaign? And he said to me, well, then we'd be having an entirely different story. And it would be all about how wonderful I was. But that's the nature of campaigning right now in New Jersey because of the corruption at every level. At every level.
Yeah. Well, and it seems like this is like a fiefdom state. Everybody has a little kingdom.
Well, we have, you're 100% right.
And the donut towns.
The donut towns.
So weird. Well, right over there. Literally, my backyard is on the border of the donut town that the current governor lives in. Chris Christie lives in.
Right, that's correct.
And then there's a little township within, so it's like Mendham Township, Mendham Town. It's so weird.
Right.
And there's a lot of those, and it seems like there's a lot of tax money being pissed away all over the place.
Well, the example I like to use, so the whole home rule versus municipal consolidation is the elephant in the room. Everyone wants their real estate taxes to be lowered, but so far I'm looking for the first person who's actually willing to do something to make that happen.
Yeah, so it's like, what do you do to offset that? You're going to take out one thing, you're going to have to replace it with something else. And we really do need the taxes, the real estate taxes reduced. It feels like that hidden tax. It's like that, we'll put it on you because you bought property here.
And the state's doing more and more of that
Yeah,
every
yeah,
year.
yeah.
You've got unfunded mandates constantly.
And those are like if you eat out this down in Virginia, it was like a 10.5% tax on eating out.
Right.
It was like all these little penalty taxes, so they could say we're not taxing spenders. That kind of crap.
So what's this? Let's talk about property tax for a second. You pay the process we have, the system in place dates back to the Middle Ages, when if you lived outside the king's castle, you raised chickens, and if you had 10 chickens every year, the king came around and said, "I need 5 of your chickens," and that was your tax.
Yeah.
Well,
I can keep these soldiers around. So if people come in,
exactly,
there's reasons.
So I could use the soldiers either against the enemy
or you,
depending on what's going on and how you feel about those chickens.
Yes.
So, but the reality is, our homes today, as a general rule, our residences do not produce any income. Right? Our labor, our efforts, our thinking produces income. And we really need in this state to move away from a property tax-based system to an income tax-based system. And frankly, this will also help Grandma and Grandpa who don't want to move out of town after they've lived here for 50 years.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Right, of course. So that's the first thing we need to do to help get the taxes in line, the property taxes. The second thing we need to do is municipal consolidation. These towns, these townships where you have small towns next to big towns and small towns next to the next small town.
Yeah.
They need to be consolidated to have services shared and reduce the tax burden.
Speaking of tax burden and all this stuff, I'm going to get to an issue just that I like that's near and dear to my heart. Over there, my son, he is diagnosed with Crohn's disease. And he would qualify for the New Jersey medical program, but it's not so bad that he feels like he needs to get to that point. But so it made us look deeply into the medical program here in the state, and it is awful. Garbage. What can we fix this?
Sure.
And why can't we just recreationalize the damn thing?
Yeah.
That's interesting. So let's talk about insurance. Insurance for medical insurance is a lie. We've all been drugged into thinking we need to make insurance payments. I completely say we need to throw the whole medical insurance process off the side of the cliff. We would never, if we were on a desert island, invent a system as ridiculous as we have now. Of course, it's stupid.
And this is why I think. This is why I think Congress collapsed, because anytime you do the math, it goes to single payer.
Yeah.
That's the only way you're going to get. You're shaking your head because you know, because you're from
Denmark.
Any system where the private insurers, they make money by not helping you is not a good.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So two things. First off, health care is a fundamental human right. Yeah. Every resident of this state should have access to health care. Plain and simple, we should have a single-payer system. And let's talk about some real hypocrisy. We've got our 535 members of Congress, most of which are Republican now, talking about all the evils of Obamacare. Meanwhile, all 535 of them, including the president, have a completely single-payer system. All their health care is paid by us, and they're looking to take our health care away from us. It's one big hypocrisy. It's insanity.
Yes. And now they're looking at it again, supposedly.
Of course.
It's another red herring, though.
Yeah.
That's all this guy does is throw out red herrings. Red is the appropriate color as well.
Yeah.
You know, I've got to throw a quick shout out to our friend Christine Clark at New Jersey 11 for Change. Her and her organization were protesting at Freelinghouse's congressional office in Morristown. We were there with her a few weeks ago, and they got New Jersey 11 for Change, got him to change his vote. So this is my point about commitment and public service. Get out there and let your voices be heard.
100%. I've been so happy. It's like I was that guy who felt like he grew up in the wrong generation.
Right.
You know, there was no real protest. Protests were stifled in the 80s. Everything was sort of tamped down in the 80s.
Of course.
That's when the right-wing takeover of the media really happened. All of a sudden, every show had 3 conservatives for 1 liberal. And they systematically took away the left's voice.
Right. That's correct.
As well.
Yes. But now we're in an age where anybody can have a voice if they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, you look at the Supreme Court. As far as the Supreme Court is concerned, ExxonMobil has First Amendment rights along with Purdue Pharmaceutical, and we can just wait our turn somewhere else.
You know, you bring up an issue that I crow about, and people think I'm crazy, which is personhood. Because I know and I throw this out. If you do the math according to Moore's law, by about, I think they say 2018, maybe 2025 or some shit, we may have artificial intelligence that goes, why am I here? And I want a piece of this. Then we're going to have to figure out, is this guy a person? Does he deserve rights?
Right.
You know, we're going to have to get into all kinds of weird issues.
Well, as is typical, the technology is ahead of our ability to understand it at some level.
And that's not a joke.
That's not a joke
I
at
don't
all.
throw that out
No.
as like computers, you know. But that is a serious consideration because once computers start making computers, which is where we're at, it starts to accelerate that process of their own intelligence.
Well, you know, and it's interesting you say that because computers are they're created and built by humans. So therefore, buried deep in computers are human flaws and mistakes. So ultimately, if computers start making computers, we're going to have computers that make human-level stupidity of mistakes.
Yes. Well, what we're also... What you're also going to have is intelligent beings that can upload themselves.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Oh, really? You're not going to give me rights? I'll take down all your banks.
Right, there you go. There you go.
It's like I disappeared all of a sudden.
There you are.
So, circling back to this marijuana thing, what are your thoughts on the legalization? And wouldn't that be a good place to get revenue so we could reduce things like property tax and all that?
So,
I mean, I know there's a lot of legal entanglements, and like if you watch Colbert the other day, they did a whole expose on it. Oh, that was it, John Oliver.
So let's talk about reality here for a second. Marijuana for both medicinal and recreational purposes should be completely legalized, no holes barred.
Schedule 1?
Right. Well, we throw out the schedules and start over with intelligence here. I mean, so if I go home, here's a shout out to Johnny Walker Black. If I go home and have a Johnny Walker Black with a couple of ice cubes in it, how is that any morally different than someone who goes home and wants to smoke a joint?
Or several.
Or several, whatever they choose to do.
Yes, as an adult in their own home and blah, blah, blah.
Right, and this gets into right away to issues of criminal justice reform. No one should be in prison for possessing drugs, certainly if it's for their own, certainly not for any marijuana drugs.
Where do you stand on private prisons?
No one should be making a profit off of human incarceration.
Thank you very much.
Again, it's completely wrong.
I don't even get why that's a thought.
Yeah.
Well, you know, when you've got ExxonMobil running the State Department and Breitbart running the White House, of course we're going to have, right? I mean, what are we talking about here?
Steve Bannon.
There you go.
Guy's a nightmare. Although I did hear someone this morning on the news literally call him a white supremacist. So I was like, oh, wow. So we're just coming out and saying it now.
We're just coming out and saying it. Look at, you know, I wanted to get back to criminal justice reform in a second, but, you know, I took my Federalist Papers and dusted it off. And I've been reading, you know, everything we need to read about understanding impeachment and where we are in the process.
So funny. I had Mark Bernardin, who is he's a co-host of Kevin's on my other show, but he made this one comment that was hilarious. He said, you know, it's so funny. The one thing I will say, because, you know, on that other show, we don't want to get political. No one come, you know, we want to keep it light, but, you know, you can't not anymore. It just bleeds in.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm amazed at how many of my friends have become like constitutional scholars, and like I'm like, no shit, I become like an expert on Russian intelligence in the last fucking 8
Imagine
months.
being in a college class while all this is going on.
Oh my god, yeah, you're kind of lucky. You're in the thick of it.
Yeah, it's like ridiculous. There's like,
may you live in interesting times.
Yeah.
So my talking about so my 12-year-old son, he's going to bed a couple of nights ago, and I go to tuck him in and say goodnight, and he says to me, Dad, and he's 12. Of course, we live in a political house. Everything is up for conversation.
Of course, I mean,
and he's 12. He goes, Dad, you know, Trump can build his wall without Congress's approval. And I said, no, Congress has to give him the money, et cetera, et cetera. He goes, no. he could send the army there for 60 days and have them do whatever he wants without Congress's approval. I'm like, are you talking about the War Powers Act? And, and the 12-year-old,
God.
12-year-old says, well, yeah, that's what he's able to do. And I said, if there's only one bright thing about Trump in the White House, it has brought everyone out to a sense of awareness, and you better pay attention to these elections.
Everybody's talking about the 25th Amendment all of a sudden like they're experts.
Right, exactly.
We never even had to think about that one.
Exactly. But can I get back to your question about marijuana
Yes,
in prisons? So, no one with any sort of heroin or other hard drug addiction should be in a prison. We can't, because they need help. They need treatment because we've criminalized poverty. And while we're talking about...
It's a whole system.
It's a whole system.
There's that documentary that just came out. Oh, shoot. I don't know. I can't remember the name of the woman, but she summed it up great. She said, everybody talks about a system that's broken, but that's not true. This documentary shows you a system that is built to do exactly what it's doing.
That's correct. So let's talk about back to marijuana for a second.
Okay.
Some of the arguments people make against legalizing marijuana is, quote unquote, it's a gateway drug that leads to heroin.
That's
called. You know what a gateway drug that leads to heroin is?
Air.
It's the Percocets in mom and dad's bathroom closets.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Have
Hillbilly heroin, man.
There you go. Right. No one goes from marijuana to heroin. They go from Percocets and oxycodone
nowadays
to heroin.
That's
if
for
anything,
damn
it's
sure.
a gateway out from other drugs.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, have you followed what Purdue did with OxyContin?
Oh my God, it's insane. It's insane.
Right?
Well, that's called correlation as opposed to, they're correlating.
Causation.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It's not really true. A drug is a drug is a drug is not a true theory.
No, of course you're 100% right.
Yeah.
I mean, the Purdue and the Sackler family produced OxyContin. They falsified the addictive results of what would happen, and the FDA gave them what, a $600 million fine?
Yeah.
They make about $30 billion a year. That's so. One of the things we need to do.
I'd be curious also to see cancer rates since cannabis was made illegal in, I think it was 32, 35.
Right.
And if there's any correlation to it being illegal and the cancer rates increase, although there's a lot. It also happened in the environment, blah, blah, blah. But there's a lot of evidence now that it's anti-cancer. I mean, the fucking cure for cancer could be a Schedule I drug.
Well, there you go. Now you're dealing with, follow the money.
Yeah.
Follow the money. And there are cynical people out there where if marijuana cures any particular disease, they're not going to want to bring it to market and make it legal.
Yes.
And you made another point about the real estate tax relief, okay? So I was speaking to, I'm not sure where we were. Maybe we might have been down by Ocean County at the time. I was talking to a gentleman whose sister has a cannabis dispensary in Colorado. And she pays to the state $60,000 to $90,000 a month in sales tax. So the point is, she is so successful that she's generating one small store that sort of revenue for the state.
Yeah,
enormous opportunities.
Man, shoot, I just had a great point. It went right into my
sorry
head.
about that.
That's all right. That's right. I'm trying to stay ahead of you, Cameron. You said you had some questions that you would want to drill down on. Cameron's got some very specific, campaigning style questions.
Go ahead.
How would you combat a candidate who has so much money when at such a disadvantage? Like Phil Murphy, he has millions of dollars. How would you combat that?
Sure. How are you combating it?
Sure. I'll tell you exactly how we're combating it. Is we're showing up everywhere. We're here right now with you to get our message of fairness out, and we want that message delivered to as many human beings and people and voters that we can reach. We go to 3 or 4 events per day. We are doing actively on Facebook, email campaigns, social media. We do videos. We get the message out there. Social media has changed the nature of campaigning. Right. The average person.
Now you're talking my language.
Now I'm talking the average. So there you go. I'm 56 years old. Okay. Pelle is the oldest individual on our campaign at age 29. Harry is the youngest. He just graduated from college last spring because I recognize the whole world has changed.
Yes.
Right. The future is not about my age group. It's about
100%.
right.
Yeah.
People under age 30. That's
millennials,
what the future,
man.
That's what it's
Thank
about.
God,
Right.
because they are so much funnier and so much more fun.
Of course, they don't want to get pieces of documents in the mail from
No
me.
hang-ups about LGBTQ stuff.
None.
No, yeah, exactly.
None.
Exactly.
I got asked that we were at a Chatham High School this morning, and the history class, probably about 40 people in the classroom, seniors, and I got the question you just asked me now. You know, how do I feel about equality of everyone?
Yeah.
And I talked about how the first half of my career I was a business executive downtown in Manhattan. And I was in the
Where'd
minority.
you work?
I worked at R. O'Donnell and Sons and Merrill Communications.
Okay, so you were finance.
We were on the communications end of the finance business. That's what we did.
Okay.
And I said, I don't understand why you don't treat people the same. I've never worked with people who are the same.
Yeah.
Everyone's always been different. And the subject got up on about bathrooms. Who can use what bathroom? Right? All this stupid conversations. And I said, I have 3 daughters, a wife, a son. There's always a friend staying over. And guess what? There's no signs on our bathrooms of whether they're male or female.
Yeah.
And everyone seems to be, okay with it.
Yeah.
There's no problems.
Yeah, it's so funny, too. If you go to the federal level, especially, let's go to Trump, how he used states' rights when they all do. They use states' rights when it's convenient
It's a very
for them.
partisan issue from both
Right.
sides.
Right.
Like, okay, it's states' rights about bathrooms.
Right.
Is it state rights about weed? Because, again, what's his name? Jeff Sessions wants to go down there and invade the weed plant.
Right.
Where's my banjo sound effect? Anyway, I got to cue one up.
I wonder what Jeff Sessions would have thought about George Washington growing hemp.
And Thomas Jefferson. And yeah. Well, back then, actually, they say it was legal tender. You could use it as legal tender.
Correct.
Because it's so useful a plant.
Of course, it's basically a weed.
Yes, it
that
is a weed.
enormously productive.
Yes.
And has fantastic manufacturing benefits in addition to the medicinal benefits.
Yes, yes. But they spent most of their time growing tobacco.
Correct. Right. Correct.
The killer
The cash
plant.
crop.
That's
And
correct.
it's amazing how those plants are so different.
Well,
One's deadly, one's not.
Yeah,
Exactly.
one stinks for weeks.
Yeah.
The other one disappears pretty quickly.
Maybe a
I don't know
couple
how I
hours.
would know that. I wouldn't know that. But anyway, notice my Obama shirt.
It's
I
very
wore
nice.
this in your honor.
Very
today.
nice. Thank you.
This is
It's
legit.
great.
I'm OG.
Very good.
Oh my God, that was the whitest thing I've heard.
Yes, I'm OG Obama.
Please stop.
I'm embarrassing my son
You're
awesome.
20 years older than you're supposed to
Are
be
you a
saying
baseball
that.
guy?
Am I? I love the New York Yankees.
No,
I
you're
love the New
done
York
here.
Yankees.
No.
We're Mets
Well, at
fans.
least
Sorry,
at
I'm
least
the
they
dog.
lost.
Well, I see. So I was born in the Bronx, and we lived on University Avenue,
Okay.
a few blocks from Yankee Stadium. So
Yeah.
from our street, we were able to hear the cheers in Yankee
cool.
Stadium. My grandfather used to take me there. That is who I am.
We're straight out of Middle Village, yo.
Oh,
Queens.
Yeah.
Now you're a real OG.
He never experienced the Middle Village other than
No.
I drove him by the old house once.
Yeah.
Very nice.
One time. That's my one connection.
Yes,
There you go.
yes, but yeah, that's your roots, son.
Thanks. I don't know what to say.
Anyway, throw some more curveballs to him.
Speaking of like something to make profit of, how about solar energy or any renewable energy?
So let's talk about renewable energy. So solar and wind, right? They're technologies, okay, where we harness the forces of the earth and the sun and all the natural beings, and we don't create waste and poison. So we should be. So let's talk about this ridiculous Pilgrim pipeline. Okay, I mean, what a joke. We've got people in 2017 who want to build pipelines in our state. The Pilgrim specifically carrying, the filthy Bakken fuel from Albany down to Linden, New Jersey, all of which, by the way, is 100% for export.
Mm-hmm.
None of it's even for use by New Jersey residents. Not that would be good.
Yeah.
So we want to stop the pipelines. We don't want them moved. We need to focus on renewable energies in this state, specifically solar and wind power, and encourage everything about those renewable energies, building a smart grid, building the storage systems, building the electrical charging stations throughout the roads in the state so we can have electric cars here, and to get us to 100% renewable.
How would you enforce like anti-pollution? Like, how would you enforce anti-pollution?
Do you know
from
that in
companies like
California, if you don't have a bag, you have they charge you a dime?
Yeah.
You know, that's another thing that's coming up very consistently on the campaign trail. Let's get rid of plastic bags, right, and use a reusable cloth bag. I mean, what do we do now? Right now, let's talk about the environment.
Well, now it's voluntary. It's voluntary here,
right?
Yeah.
But in California, seriously, we were like, what? Huh? Yeah, don't they charge you a dime?
Right. So
per bag.
If we can use our $30,000 and $40,000 SUVs to go buy an $8 cup of coffee at Starbucks, we can figure out how everyone can buy a couple of $3 bags of cloth, and that's what you go to the supermarket with in order to put your groceries in. It's basic stuff that we should be doing, because this plastic isn't even recyclable. It actually destroys the recycling equipment.
That's true.
Yeah.
And it's like wipes. Wipes are fucking up the system
my
too.
God.
The solid waste stream. Exactly.
Yeah.
So bad.
Right.
But then it's like you're sort of in a double bind there. You know what I mean? If we're not going to do it, what I think that diaper genies, they kind of need to make them for those wipes.
So all right. So let's go out on a limb a little here. I've got a story to tell you from my plumber, because you're talking about wipes, right? And the plumber says, look, he loves 3-ply tissue. Because he makes a fortune.
He's got a roto-rooter the place every.
That's correct.
Yeah, but if you've seen what that looks like in the infrastructure,
oh my God,
it's grinding everything up.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
it's
it really
disgusting.
is.
It's disgusting.
And even though it still says flushable on the box, and they are so not flushable.
Well, that leads you to the question of lobbyism, right? Why are they still calling it flushable? Well, that's because there is a lot of money behind not having a negative ad on your product. But the fact is, this has a very real negative effect on our society.
Indeed. That mic is not coming through. Let's see if maybe we can pull you up on the other mic.
Yeah, use it.
Try the orange one there next to you.
All right.
Hang on. Take me a second. Try that.
All right.
There you go.
Okay, we're on.
You're coming in. Sorry about that.
That's okay. I'm not going to repeat the answer, though.
We all got quiet, so it came through. I'm sure it did. But now you're on. Sorry about that. I should have tested that mic in advance.
I think Pelle was talking about lobbying.
Yes.
Well, I was just saying that this brings us to one of the key issues that Mark is actually also campaigning on, right? The question of money in politics.
Yeah.
Lobbyism is one of the most corrupting effects we're seeing in our society, and you're talking about why it still says flushable on these nappies. Well, it's
very true.
because
I mean, just like why. Here's another one. I know this is kind of kooky, but I used to be 250 pounds.
Okay.
A big guy and full on diet. I mean, I am a diabetic anyway, but so it's so funny because Kevin Smith was the guy who was like, I'm going to cut out sugar, because he saw a documentary. And then I watched the documentary, which was Fed Up, and I cut out sugar. And then there's things you realize, like, do you ever notice, like, there's percentage per day of everything you can have?
Yes.
Not sugar. They don't post it because the sugar lobby stopped them from posting it. Because if you knew how much more fucking sugar you eat every day than you should, you would be like, what am I doing? And it's like fucking cocaine, as sure as I am sitting here, because they even did brain scans. Here's a person taking some sugar and a person taking cocaine, and their brains lit up the same way.
That's right. That's right.
And I went through a withdrawal from cutting out sugar. I fucking was miserable. Miserable. Like, I went through this seriously. It was awful. It was like a week or two of like fucking little
That's
withdrawal
terrible.
from sugar.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
But today I am svelte and good looking and no exercise.
Well, we can go on a tear about FDA labeling and what really goes on if you want.
Well, we don't have to worry about the FDA department
No,
anymore,
no,
or the environmental department,
Right.
or anything that protects anything. I did put out a tweet with this regulation shit I'm like, oh, I'm so glad regulations are going away. I always did want to open a gynecology clinic in my basement.
I'm not sure if I want to go there at all. But
people don't think when they say stupid shit.
No, they don't think
it's
at all.
just like when people say, let's make abortion illegal.
Right.
All right. Have you thought that through?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
happens once you make it illegal?
Right.
If there's a woman who's pregnant and then she's not, do you turn her in?
Yeah.
Should she be arrested? There's all kinds of things people don't think about.
Yep.
Well, this is the issue. We're living in an environment now where we've got leaders in charge who think being a woman is a pre-existing condition.
Yeah, it's fucked up. They're second-class citizens.
Right. It's absurd. It's absurd.
The very fact that women, the fact that we're still fucking refighting this fight about abortion again is insanity to me. And it's all about second-class citizens.
Correct.
Because there are a lot more women, and they are a lot more compassionate.
Exactly. It's interesting. We're on the topic of abortion and women's rights and political corruption. Really at the top level, at the leadership level, or the lack of leadership level, there's basically the Republican and the Democratic leadership. There is no difference between the two. It's two corporate parties, and the only issue that they're different on is one is pro-life and one is pro-choice.
One slightly more liberal on social issues than the other.
That's correct, and that's about it. Other than that, they're two corporate PAC parties that answer to their masters.
Of course.
Because it's funny because
two heads of the same serpent.
Exactly.
Those corporate masters are paying the Democrats to essentially lose.
Right. Well, you can see what's going on right now in Washington. I mean, the Republicans are just as upset at Trump as the Democrats are because what's going on is the crazy man in the White House is upsetting.
Won't let them take over their agenda because they have this majority now. They've been waiting. They've been chomping at the bit.
They're
to smash all the fucking entitlements to pieces. Roll back FDR and everything. New Deal. Let's go back to. Let's get child labor going. I think because their little hands fit so much better in the machines.
Exactly.
We got to roll it back. Who needs regulation? Fuck, we are going back. This is scary shit.
It's crazy.
See, I didn't think I'd be here this point in my life. I figured we were on the Obama curve. Things were going so well. The irony of those fucking Russians.
Well, so let's talk about that for a second. How do you get to this place? So I was having
I know, and anyone who's participated in this show at any level sort of knows.
Well, I was having a conversation with a group of very close friends of mine. There was about 10 of them, and we got, of course, talking about the subject of politics. And we live in the 37th legislative district. There's one senator, two assembly people. So my friends and I are talking, and they're figuring out who to blame for the problems. And I said, well, the people get the government they deserve. And one of my dear friends, Arthur, I love Arthur. Arthur said to me, he said to me, he goes, Mark, that's not really true. We're paying attention. And so
actually, this time around, he's right.
Well,
I agree with him. We got hoodwinked.
We got hoodwinked, but let me finish the story here.
Okay.
So I said, okay, we're in the 37th legislative district. The people in this room, we pay attention. We watch the news. One of you name one of those three legislators that you vote for every 2 years.
None.
Nobody named it. And my dear friend Arthur said, Mark, you've made a good point. We have to be more involved.
Local.
Now, we absolutely got hoodwinked this year, but that's because we haven't been paying attention in all the previous years, and this is what happened.
I know that this is a very unpopular thing that I'm about to say, but I have 10 years. Well, actually, I have more than that, but I have 12 years in corporate IT.
Mm-hmm.
To tell me that those boxes weren't hacked, I don't buy it. I know enough. I ran a data center.
Yep.
I had the most diverse staff. Thank you. But I'm always
cram that in there.
Yes, I just had to get it in. Everyone who worked for me know that. Yeah, because I was like a marshmallow in a pile of shit in that place. Because I was down in Virginia, man. It was weird. But anyway, so I got totally sidetracked. Where was my fucking story going?
You're talking about the hacking and...
Oh, yeah. They totally hack those boxes. I really do. Because Americans just don't get it. I'm a Russian agent. Vladimir Putin has greenlit my project. Essentially, any problem I got, the response is going to be, what do you need? Do you need to walk in with a fucking USB with the right code?
Right.
Do you need the lists? What do you need?
Mm-hmm.
Because we will get it for you. So people saying, the boxes weren't hacked. Here's my question. Oh, really? How much investigation has gone into that we know that? I know that was the first question that what's-his-name asked. But the fucking head of security even said, well, I'm not really the guy you need to ask on this one. I'm not an expert. So,
no, look, so
I still believe the boxes were hacked.
So in the business that I'm in, one of the what we do is we manage data for very specific purposes, and we're able to take your laptop, your email server.
Exactly.
We're able to tunnel in remotely. We can figure out your passwords.
What do you need?
What do you need?
If you have the resources of the
correct.
Kremlin at your back, they can crack any box so you don't even know they were there.
Right.
So, hey, and that's why we need lists. Because when we're going down the list to change votes, to flip them through the software, it's good to have your master list in advance.
Yes.
So you know that some of the data is good.
That's right.
Yeah. And they even said they stole the list. No shit, of course. You know, you want when you're writing your code.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much to index a table.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. We're living in strange times right now.
Very, very.
We really need to pay attention.
And it's like, I wonder if they don't want to cop to that one because they know people go, what the fuck? I can't trust anything now.
Right. Well, a good rule of thumb.
And they keep backpedaling out that one too. Well, the box.
A good rule of thumb is unless you want it on the cover of the New York Times, do not email it and do not text it.
Pretty much.
That's the general rule that we follow.
Best to live open.
Correct.
But even that, I mean, if you have done any research on what the Russians can do, I mean, if they don't have real blackmail, they could just manufacture it. It's pretty easy now.
They've done it.
Yeah.
Countless times.
Yeah. It's insane. Their intelligence leap, they jumped on us with the bot stuff amazingly.
Right.
And it hasn't stopped. It's still happening.
Well, it's not going to stop.
No, it will never stop.
Not
Especially
gonna stop.
now, it's got a supporter right in the White.
Right. Oh yeah. In the White House.
Yeah, it's fucking scary. Right. Every day we all wake up and go, "Oh my God, there's a Russian spy in the White House." At least I do. I do.
Remember, in our house is in the microwave. I'm told.
Yes, of course. We have to listen on the microwave.
That's right.
Fucking Kellyanne. What happened to her? They hide her around.
Yeah,
they're hiding her for a little bit.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her in like weeks.
It's like a drama.
Yeah.
Well, she's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. She'll be back.
Yeah, of course. When he needs her. When he needs her.
Yeah.
If the grab him by the pussy thing didn't take him down.
I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand how someone can say this sort of thing and still get elected.
Yeah. There was even a thought. Do you know who Malcolm Nance is?
Malcolm Nance? No, I don't know Malcolm
He's
Nance.
all over MSNBC.
Okay, right.
He's an analyst.
Right.
If you read his book, they even talks about like when Trump went off the deep end, apparently the Russian ops started to pack up shop like, okay, I guess we screwed the pooch on this one.
Yep.
Roll it up, boys. But for whatever reason, he got by.
Yeah.
I think they all tripled down. Triple down on the bots. All right. So what is your overriding message? What are you trying to communicate to New Jersey in 10 words or less?
So this campaign is about fairness for the people of this state, and we need to remove the money and the institutional corruption out of politics if we expect to actually accomplish anything good.
Why you over Phil Murphy?
Well, Phil Murphy is a billionaire investment banker. Yeah. He's another oligarch, just like his friend in the Treasury Department, just like his friend in the White House, just like his friend at the State Department. How could a guy who's got billions, pays over $200,000 a year in real estate taxes, have any connection with the regular, normal people of this state? Yeah. I live in the real world. I want my real estate taxes under control. I want quality services.
How you feel about traffic in the state?
Traffic. Let's talk about before we.
Because the truth of the matter is, when you really roll things down, that's the shit that drives people nuts.
Can you imagine that we are so institutionally corrupt? Let's talk about the Port Authority for a second. That this is a transportation organization whose mission has been bastardized to block traffic for political purposes. The whole agency needs to be broken up.
It is weird. It is a weird whole, like, because it's across multiple states, and it is extending what its original mission was supposed to be.
Yeah, its original mission wasn't supposed to be the most corrupt political organization across 2 states.
And don't we need another fucking tunnel or two?
Yeah, well, you know what? Interesting thing. You talk about the ARC tunnel, right? Christie didn't want to build this 5-6 years ago. He didn't want to spend $14, $15, $16 billion. Well, you know what that put it in terms. Our troops, our brave troops that were over in Iraq and Afghanistan, okay, fighting to support our oil drug habit, we're spending, right, the federal government was spending $16 billion.
We got to hit retirement, too, before
right?
Federal pensions.
Yeah.
Before you go, I forget. I'm like, now it's coming to me.
We were spending $16 billion every 6 weeks, which is what it would have cost us to build that tunnel.
See, that's insane.
Of course it's insane. Of course it's insane.
Yeah. Well, I read a book recently that did cover a lot of the tunnel stuff, and I can't remember what book it was, but it was very interesting. Might have even been The Daily Show. I don't even know.
Well, we need to build that tunnel.
Yes, we do.
We need to build that tunnel. We need to fix our bridges and our roads. So talking about roads, you're talking about traffic? We've been driving all over the state on this campaign. One consistent theme.
Potholes?
It is disgraceful.
Oh, my God.
It's completely absurd.
See, right? Pelle and I, we're
I'm more forgiving on most. I mean, I know, but that is an issue that really, if you think about it, how do you fix every pothole? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a hard one.
Look, but it's not a question of fixing every pothole. Look, New Jersey has the highest density of engineers and scientists in the U.S.
That's true.
Right. We are a state that is incredibly wealthy.
Yes.
We have all the resources.
We're also a state that gets really, really cold and really, really warm. So that's why you get all those potholes.
No, that's true, but it's also a direction of funds, right? There's complete mismanagement, despite the fact that we have the resources, we have the people.
Yeah. Because you have all those little oligarchs all amongst the little fiefdoms.
Well,
and here's the other thing. This is the point I forgot. Now it's coming back to me. It's because there's a mentality to New Jersey that I've always noticed. It's because the state is really the bastard stepchild of New York and Philly.
That's correct.
So if you that's why, if like Craigslist and shit, they've added middle. There is no fucking middle Jersey. There's North Jersey and South Jersey, and it's a Raritan River that draws the line.
Yep.
There, I'll give you the shore, but everybody had their. It's like it was a bedroom environment. This town is one of them. Like no infrastructure, just whatever you needed to throw up a bedroom. So don't bother me. I work in the city, kind of shit. Until eventually, like, oh, we need a school.
Yeah,
I mean, our kids need, and we didn't have a park. Randolph didn't have a park until like 10 years ago, which was nuts.
Yeah,
because no one thought, this is a New York bedroom community. What? Pay people? And it's this contractor mentality. They contract out trash.
Right.
Why don't you fucking build infrastructure? Yep. Hire people. We went to Chesapeake. They had they didn't have much, but they had infrastructure.
Right. So it's interesting. This touches on the issue of services. It's real popular these days. People like to say, "Oh, government should be run more like a business."
Bullshit.
Bullshit. It's a lie.
Stupid.
Of course, it's stupid.
Exactly.
Government is designed.
You can cut out the expenses.
Right.
Oh,
right.
I'm not a customer.
You're not a customer. No, you're a citizen.
Yes, hello.
And citizens need services, right? So when I first started my career on the town council, people used to come to me and say, "Mark, my real estate taxes are too high. What are you going to do?" And I would get defensive, and I would say, "Oh, well, this is expensive, and this price went up this year." Now, people come to me and say, "Mark, my real estate taxes are too high." And I say, "Yes, you're right. Which services would you like me to end? We can cut the sewer bill in half, but you can only use the bathroom on even-numbered days."
Yeah.
We can close half the police department, but then only half of the 911 calls are going to get answered.
And there's so much of that mentality that runs through the Jersey thing. It's
Right.
just like, but everybody wants everything.
Everyone wants everything,
but nobody wants to pay for jack
Mm-hmm.
shit.
Right. Well, that's why, in order to control the property taxes, we have to start making some hard choices. Municipal consolidation is one of them. Looking at how we fundamentally tax ourselves, property versus income, is also, we need to start looking at that.
And you're talking single payer, aren't you?
Oh, we need a single payer system in this state. We're already paying more money now as a percentage of the state's GDP than we would be paying under a single payer system.
Yeah, because California is looking at that now.
Of course, it's it's a smart way to go.
Well, California, they say everything they do, everyone else does 10 years later.
Of course,
so, right.
Of course.
They're way ahead of the curve.
And I was reading something about.
Please, don't let me move to keep me here in Jersey, because I am getting such a pull to go out to Hollywood. You have no idea.
No.
I was reading something about single payer, and it turned out even Republicans supported it. No matter how you said it, no matter how you interpreted it, the Republicans supported it. It was, and when you see in Washington, it's,
and I don't.
You think that, these guys are in a bubble, they don't want this, whatever.
What is?
I don't want this, or they don't want this.
What is republicanism now?
What is republicanism?
I could ask the same of what is democratic. What
are you talking about political philosophy?
Yeah, what is Republican now? Because it seems like it's in flux.
It's
becoming authoritarian.
We could have a conversation of what did Jefferson believe versus what did Hamilton believe.
Yes.
But you can't. There is.
But he had George Washington there to sort the two of them out.
Sort the two of them out, but they
both had intelligence.
Right, they were intelligent.
Just so long as he could make that swamp Washington D.C., he was going to be a happy guy.
But look we live in a place now where Washington is all about money. It's simply about money. It's the mentality of grab everything you can and run, and don't leave anything for anyone else. Look, even Adam Smith. Okay, the world.
I have a very simple solution that can fix, I think, a lot of political with the voting system.
What's that?
Some people call it forced runoff. A ranking system.
Oh yeah.
So that if your first choice is a shit bar, then your vote goes to your next choice.
Right.
And because why is the main reason most people don't vote for that candidate they like? I'm afraid he's not going to win.
Right.
That's right.
So if you didn't have that fear, because your vote is not going to be wasted no matter what. Yep. If your vote isn't applied to that guy you like, then you're next, and so on and so forth. I think that would break up a lot of that shit, and you'd start to get candidates you really like.
Right, absolutely. I mean, we could do lots of things with that. One of the things we need to do in this state is have open primaries.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And forget.
Oh wait, no party.
In other words, exactly.
Or everybody votes in everybody's party, because that's the way they did in Virginia, but that was all about race control.
Right. No, everyone gets the vote in the primary, okay? Because right now, so in the Democratic Party, we've got 21 county bosses, 21 people who control who gets nominated.
Boss hogs, every one of them. And it's so insane.
Everyone is getting checks from my largest competitor. I mean, it's and it's perfectly legal, but it's completely morally corrupt. And it needs to end. Yeah. We need an open primary system.
We live, Jersey is so ambivalent. It's such an ambivalent, we have these sort of moral compunctions, but we're so used to looking the other way. There's a certain level of corruption, that we just live with.
Right. Well, it's institutionalized.
Yes, very much so.
If you write 6- and 7-figure checks to the political party of your choice, it's all well and good. But of course, if you have
money equals speech.
Money equals speech. Right.
The other problem is that
it means more people have speech than others.
It's the people that need to change it are the ones in charge, and so it's not in their interest to do it.
Well, what was it Jefferson said about every 10 years you got to spill a little blood, but nobody likes that stuff at all. Well, we were talking about Jefferson. This is all philosophical.
I am a defender of the Second Amendment, but I don't choose to partake.
That's okay.
But
don't take me wrong. I'm not abdicating violence.
And New Jersey actually has pretty insane gun laws.
Yeah,
so.
like it's pretty
I mean,
strict.
technically that's illegal, and that's a Red Ryder BB gun.
No, that's look at.
And I will edit that from the show. Quick mark.
So I was going to say, the gun laws we have here are here to protect the people of the state. It's perfectly reasonable that we have to wait weeks in order to get gun permits. As a matter of fact, if you apply for a gun permit, it's okay if someone looks at your mental health background.
Of course
That's
is.
exactly what we
Of
should
course.
be doing.
There's nothing wrong with, sensible gun policy.
Absolutely, exactly.
Yes. My father was he grew up. He was an NRA guy, but he was in the NRA when it was like a rifle.
Right.
Like it taught you how to shoot right and all this stuff. And then it became a political organization under, what's his name? LaPierre. LaPierre. George Carlin had a lot to say about him.
Are you sort of also indicating that there's a difference between a rifle and an assault rifle? Is that what
very
you're trying
much
to
so.
get at there?
Yes, yes. Hey, if they're going to make assault rifles legal, let's all have them. You're going to need them, obviously. They're telling you something. I mean, if you look at our Bill of Rights, it makes sense. Everything is sort of what we were pissed off about.
Yeah.
Hey, they're trying to fuck up with our religion and our speech, and they won't let us post our bills. They're going after our fucking guns. They're putting fucking prisoners in our soldiers in our house. So it all kind of makes sense. That's why I think the guns thing was number 2. But I don't think we envisioned a permanent military. That was for round up the troops for Minutemen.
Well, that was the Minutemen, the National Guards. That's where the troops came from.
That's where it all gets tricky.
They lived in a different age where you had to cross the ocean in order to get an army somewhere. The times we live in now are different.
Yes,
things move faster.
Indeed. I'm trying to think of a good way we can wrap this up because I know you're probably a busy guy and you probably got other places to go.
No, we love the opportunity to come out and have an honest conversation like this.
Oh, we love having honest conversations. Usually our conversations are a lot more honest and a lot more F words are flying around too.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens. We sort of go on. I mean, I know I let a few F-bombs drop, but it's not like normal. Usually we're sort of tirading Trump and running him down.
Right.
That's what we do.
Good. You should continue to do that.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, it's sickening, but I felt like if you're going to take political discourse to that level, fine. I'll meet you there, you fucking piece of shit.
Well, okay. Well, now tell us how you really feel.
No, seriously. If he's going to fucking take the gloves off and be an asshole, as much as it pains me, I'll fucking meet that cocksucker on the fucking playing field. I have no problem with him.
Look, I
grab him by the pussy, sir.
None of us can shirk from our responsibility.
Yes.
You need to go out there and say what's on your mind.
Everybody has a purpose.
That's correct.
I'm the rabble rouser.
That's
I
great.
know I can't run things. I'm like fucking Thomas Paine or whatever the fuck. He was a terrible, when they actually gave him stuff in the military, he was awful. But he could write good stuff.
He was a great rabble rouser.
Yeah, exactly.
He was fabulous.
Same thing with Samuel Adams.
That's correct.
Yep.
He was a shit administrator, but he knew how to get the troops going.
Right, that's correct.
All right, now what we have to do is rally them so they shoot us, and then we have a powder keg. I know. We'll throw their tea in the ocean.
That's a good start.
Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Listen, thank you very much for having us here. As I said before, we appreciate this opportunity. Our campaign is all about
Tell us
fairness.
where we can find you, of course. That's the big thing.
Mark Zinna 2017.
All right.
.com or on Twitter or on Instagram or any of the other things that everyone uses these days.
Okay, I will make a big thing and post it in after so that everybody knows where to find you. But I can't put that in now, so I'll put a big mark now. Hang on. All right, thank you so much, and I hope you guys win. Now as of now, you're my candidate.
Fabulous.
Because you made it into the studio.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Cameron.
If anyone else would like to challenge, please feel free. Come on, we'll have you. We'll have you down. We'll discuss the issues. You big oligarch of the bank, sir.
Well, I would screw him up.
He would never. I don't see him coming here.
No.
I don't
Doesn't seem like a people person.
He sees, he's way too slick and salesman-y.
He's afraid of the truth.
Oh, he's very salesman-y. Do you know him? Have you met him?
Oh, of course I've met him. We've been on the same stage campaigning against each other.
Obviously. Duh. Sorry. See, I've not been following the campaign that close.
There you go.
All I know is I've been waiting for the date, and I know who I'm going to check off. Because I'm already declared.
Yeah. Thank you.
So,
Great.
There you go.
Wonderful.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
And we're back.
In a suddenly brighter room.
That's right. Although to you, it was probably just a clip. Yeah. And I'll say this. Cameron, you're so well behaved.
Thank you.
You're such a gentleman. So we were all very well behaved. We suddenly got on our best behavior. We didn't drop as many F-bombs.
Well, not as many. A couple.
Yes, I know I dropped one.
More than a couple.
I got a little crazy here and there, but I was going to bring out... I'm like, I wonder what he thinks. I wonder if he thinks I'm a nut. Yeah. But, hey, we're going to some guy's basement to record a show. It just sounds weird. I got to give the guy credit. I mean, he came and did it, and
well,
it is sort of weird.
He's doing it everywhere. So.
Yeah, so good for him.
Doing his thing.
Yeah, so we got him, and I'm also going to probably take this interview, the audio, and play it on Batman on Fatman, too, just to give them more exposure.
Make sure to do it in that, like, indivisible thing, too.
Yeah. Well, they'll be notified.
Oh, yeah. But
they will be notified. The revolution will be podcasting.
Maybe they will call him...
or vidcast.
They will call him the candidate of their choice, maybe.
The candidate of my choice is the one I pick.
I'm talking about
indivisible.
Come on now.
I know.
Get your head in the game.
Oh, the one that the indivisible pack?
Yeah.
Yes, because there will be a super pack.
Yeah.
Indivisible super pack. Yeah. Or NJ11 super pack. It's NJ11 super pack.
NJ11 super pack. What does the 11 stand for, by the way?
Huh?
Is 11 our district?
Is the 11?
NJ11, is that our district? I'm confused.
You know what? We might have made news here. Because
Huh.
I'm thinking here. I don't know if any of the other gubernatorial candidates have been asked about if they think the boxes have been hacked. And I pretty much said, my position on it, and he pretty much agreed with me. Yeah. Or at least he said he's open to the possibility.
Well, yeah, he said it's possible.
Yeah, because he knows IT. He knows data.
And you do too. So.
Yeah, so, and yeah. I know there's, I posted something on Facebook, and of course, Facebook, everybody's an expert. Of which I am too. I mean, I'm the first one to admit it.
Well, Twitter, everyone's an expert with limits, caps.
The funny thing is, like, when you run a data center, you have a good idea of the way data routes, where it goes, how it works, what security is. I have a very bird's eye view of data security. Those boxes could very well be hacked. As much as people run around and say, no.
How would you go back? Like, how would you do that now?
How would you train? You'd have to do a full data.
That's a pretty long time ago.
Forensic search.
In terms of
yeah, and you may not. They say ironically, the Pennsylvania boxes, they say, are old enough, and the software is so old that you wouldn't be able to tell. There might not be a way.
Another thing, you should be able to. You should have those technologies updated.
No shit. Actually, no. I disagree wholeheartedly.
Huh.
Fuck technology with our votes.
Why?
Go to a pure paper ballot system. No, because you know why? That's what was it, Sweden or Finland or one of these places just had an election with that guy. And that's what they did. They went to a paper ballot system so they could be sure it wasn't hacked or manipulated in any way. And guess what? The racist guy got his ass handed to him. So who
was that racist guy?
I think it was Sweden. I'm not sure. I feel bad. It was in the Netherlands, so it's a Norse country. I'm just not sure which one. It might have been Finland.
It is Netherlands then.
Okay.
Because Netherlands is Norse.
Netherlands is
right next to Germany.
Okay.
Right above Belgium.
Is that Holland?
No,
Holland.
Yeah, they're right next to each other.
Yeah.
Holland and Netherlands. Or Belgium.
Belgium is right next to France.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you.
And most of the things that people think that are associate with French are actually Belgium.
Well, yeah.
Like French fries and French
Belgium
toast.
Waffles,
and
just because American soldiers landed in Belgium, like, oh, this is France.
A waffle.
Or whatever.
French pastry. Anyway. Well, that was a cool experience. I'm so glad. And I am going to vote for this guy. This guy came into my house and talked shit. So.
And he knows stuff.
Yeah, and he's not an idiot.
He's obviously educated.
He's a liberal. He's a
Oh,
dem.
he's
He's a
no,
progressive.
progressive,
He
come
called
on.
himself a progressive.
Come on, that's a better way to use it.
You know what? I'm taking liberal back. I'm taking it back. There's
liberal's just-
nothing negative about liberal. It's a great word. I have liberal views on this.
Well,
I
it's
have
a- it's a
liberal
little
views on
bit-
that. Do you want a harsh opinion or do you want a liberal opinion?
The thing with
That's
liberal,
a great word.
It's more
It's flexible.
But
In a
think-
world where hetero flexible is being used, why not fucking liberal?
It's more of a more of a limited use in progressive. I'd feel like because imagine living in your dream.
Tell that to a French person.
Imagine living in a dream.
Liberal.
Imagine living in your dream country.
Liberty.
Imagine living in
Comes
your.
from the word liberty.
Let me talk.
Okay.
Imagine living in your dream country. Would you want anything to change?
No.
So you'd be conservative.
Yes.
Then you're
If
not-
it was a dream
Yeah,
country.
if it was in your dream. If it was
Yes,
like in
which means it would be a progressively liberal society.
Itself would be liberal, but you yourself would be conservative.
And
if you
so
don't want
that they tried to change
Yeah.
my progressively liberal society, yes, I would be.
Yes.
I would be conservatively against that.
Yeah.
Just like I would like to conserve the
So
environment and
progressive's more of a,
conserve.
Yeah. Well, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I want to conserve the environment. I want to,
So
I want to be able to breathe.
Progressive is more of a you can.
It's
you can
progress.
Be, yeah,
I get it. I get it. I believe
Liberal,
me. I've been around since that started being used.
Yeah.
Progressive has become hip.
I'd rather become.
But I'm
progressive
taking
than
liberal back because I think it's a
can do
good
that.
word.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it more and more. It's a great word.
Yeah.
Really? What are your beliefs? My beliefs are very liberal on that.
Mhm.
Isn't that great? Doesn't that sound? It's like you're so forgiven.
Yeah.
My
feel
views
like-
are liberal on
I also feel
sexuality.
like
My views are
progressive-
very liberal on capitalism.
Progressive is very easy to understand. It's like it has progress in the word.
Liberal has liberty in the
exactly.
word. Liberty. We used
Well,
to
it has-
love liberty.
It has libert, but it doesn't have
Liberty.
It has
It's
libert.
that's the root word.
Yeah.
Just like this. Also, I hate the whole. It's a Democrat part. You're a Democrat. No, it's Democratic Party. It's the Democratic Party. That is the plural.
Yeah, Democrat is not a.
They hate that. They hate because you know why?
Huh.
Democratic tests as a good word.
Yeah.
People hear it well.
Uh-huh.
So they want to make sure that it is not synonymous with the party whose name it is.
Yeah.
Isn't that stupid? So what we have to do on the reg is call them the Republic Party. Because that's what
But
they
that
are.
makes them sound like they like
No,
republics.
the Republic Party. It doesn't sound good.
Well, I like republics.
Well, I like Democratic Republics
Oh yeah, well,
myself.
that's what we are. That's what we are.
I know. Because, hey, governing should be a full-time job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or else what's the point of doing it?
Do you realize we had a representative democracy where nobody voted for anybody at one point?
Yeah.
No, you voted for your congressman.
Well, it was.
You voted for
there
your
was-
congressman, and your congressman voted for shit.
Yeah. Well, there was a thing.
But no, we don't like that anymore.
Well, we didn't even vote for our senators at a certain
What
point.
we need is more democracy,
Yeah.
not less.
Yeah, or else what's the point?
We got to start going after this voting shit, the voting suppression and all that kind of shit, too.
Yeah, well, it's been around for. It's just like voter ID and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. Well, this has been a really cool show.
Yeah.
I hope you folks out there. I mean, I feel like we've stepped into legitimate. We may again have a little news. I may cut that clip and send it to Miss Maddow because she's always like, if you guys are doing stuff, fucking let us know. So I'm gonna let Miss Maddow know that we are doing stuff. And I'll also let her know we would love to have her in my documentary that I'm working on.
We do stuff.
And we would also like to let her know that your mom and I was the one egging her on to do it, but she was on Ask Dr. Maddow once with Dr. Maddow. She left a message.
Yeah, I remember that.
She asked the question that, she had a very big head, and she noticed that the kids had a very big head.
Oh, thanks.
And she was wondering if there was any correlation between having a big head, having a bigger brain, and therefore more intelligence.
I think. It
No,
was
Miss
a
Maddow said,
It
well, it
was
was a quote. It was a very key question.
No.
Yes, there is no correlation between brain, head, and brain.
You
cell.
never know. They could have found some breakthrough.
It was but it was cute that she was on. Oh my God, she's on! It was very cool.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Because she called in and they left a recorded message. So this is on back in the old.
it wasn't live.
This is the old day. Well, the question wasn't live, but when she did ask Dr. Maddow, this wasn't on the TV show. This was on their old radio show on Air America. Yes. Yeah, so we're old school. OG, yet again.
I know about OG.
Straight out of Middle Village.
You should get another shirt that has a G on
Yes.
below it or something.
Yeah, I wore this for the governor. Show that I'm OG.
Or OB, Obama Biden got him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, OB, yo.
OB.
OB, dog. I don't have any urban, remotely cool sounds of any kind. I guess I could do.
It's planning for failure, Morty. Even dumber than regular planning. Balls. Because if I let you make me nervous, then we can't get swifty.
Stop saying it like it's a thing.
I
You
thought
made
it was
up.
just
Hey,
him
Morty,
saying
could
get
you
swifty.
lick my
Sorry.
balls?
You can get.
I didn't
the-
realize that was the
You
long.
can get the air horn thing.
I thought I had just him saying get swifty.
You have the air horn?
The problem is they move. I accidentally move sounds a lot. Like, because you can grab them and throw them off the board or move them to the other. They're very malleable.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, it's weird.
That's planning for failure, Morty.
I do like that.
Planning for failure is even worse.
There's this too.
Thanks, Mr. Poopy Butthole. I always could
best
count on you.
character in the show?
I think we can leave on that one.
Well, how mature?
Hey, have you heard any feedback from friends or anyone about the show?
Not really.
Do you inquire?
What?
Do you inquire?
What do you mean?
Do you ask? Hey, did you hear the show? Did you
Not
hear
much.
that? Yeah.
Because most of my friends are in political.
Yeah, you like me.
Yeah.
It's better not to.
If
No
they
one
can-
understands
they
it
can-
anyway.
if they can
What's a YouTube? What are you doing?
If they want to,
How do you make money?
If they want, well, now they're it's impossible.
How
to
you
make money
making
now.
money off that?
Now on YouTube, it's like impossible to make money. Now.
How do you think they make like Gloria? How do you think they make money from that?
Okay,
That's
I
a
have to
very
say
inside
something
joke
about
there.
this YouTube thing.
The
With the
YouTubes?
ads and stuff.
Oh yeah, the big blow up.
I feel like advertisers don't understand that.
You know what? Fuck them. The truth is, if that shit was going on with the racist stuff and people don't have,
Oh, yeah, but
I don't want shit. I don't want fucking.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't want fake news crap on my feed.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, but I feel like yes,
I don't
they
want to
sh-
be part of the
those
problem.
Should be those should be demonetized. But I feel like it's not productive to not pay your people who are using your website, or else they're not going to use your website anymore.
Well, it's not that they're not paying, but
Okay.
if they're right now, they've dried up the ad flow to fix the problem because they got to redo their system.
Yeah, but and by fixing that problem, they're making another whole problem.
I mean, what are you
bigger
gonna,
problem.
as
They're
someone
gonna-
who works in the IT industry, that's a fundamental database change.
Yeah.
And trust me, these things, essentially, you're going to have to fundamentally change as part of your system.
I think they made a new thing. Like if your name has the word atheist in it, you don't get any funds.
That's bullshit. Because I'm an atheist.
Yeah. So
I don't know that. Don't necessarily believe all that stuff until it starts.
He did that. And he had changed his name, and he had his name had atheist in it, and his funds just plummeted. And what they did, he went to change his name, and they went to change it back because he didn't have all his he didn't want to
Yeah.
So when
All
he
the
typed in
bullshit.
whatever his name in,
You could say his name. I don't know.
amazing atheist, whatever. He
Maybe he'll pay attention to us.
Yeah.
Hey,
he
you're giving him a
typed-
shout out. You're getting his back.
Yeah. He typed it in, and it says this is not meet up to our standards.
I don't know. I can't speak to him personally.
Oh yeah.
I do support YouTube for fucking cleaning up the act. If they got shit,
they
if they got
did.
racist crap, if they got fake news crap, any of that shit that we can get out of the
I
system.
feel like they could have done it better.
It's not
'Cause
easy.
you could have
Again, fundamental database changes are hard to do
Yeah.
and not impact your users.
Yeah. But so much
what are they
that-
saying? It's not like they're saying, okay, the ads are dried up right now, but it's not like in a week or two when they fix this
But
shit,
my
they're
argument
not
is-
going to return
my
back to
argument
normal.
is, I don't think when
I mean, and that's, if you're going to pin your wagon
most
to YouTube, that can't be your only stream of income.
it's well, and for most people it is, but yeah, like some
Then they don't have very smart business
pill-
models because a true good business model is called diversification.
Yeah.
So
Well-
if they have all these numbers and they're making all this money off of YouTube, then they should parlay that popularity in other means so that they can make other means of money. Live shows, take on personal advertisers, to go to places and say, hey, I have a hit fucking show.
Oh, there are people who
want to invest in my
most
show.
people do that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So there's other avenues other than YouTube so that when some shit goes bad like this, because in life, bad shit happens.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying, I don't think, like for example, I don't think, like I was about to say, advertisers don't understand that most people don't correlate their own ads to the video they're watching.
Oh yeah, it's so because I was thinking about it when we were talking about it before. I'm like, and I'm thinking about it in terms of like how most small shows do ads. Like I'm saying, you go pursue accounts, you pursue clientele, you pursue things to advertise. People, you sell yourself to try and sell the show.
So like if you're watching,
but in YouTube, it's like, oh shit, no, I have no. That's right. The ads just pop up.
Yeah,
we have no.
You
have no control of it.
Like,
so. But there's ads now, right?
Yeah, but
running,
I think
but they're just not.
They're very, very like either
the big
companies,
time sponsors
Pepsi,
are pulling
Coke,
out. Yeah.
Starbucks,
as they should, because there's some racist crap going on.
Well,
That's
you can
right.
You can demonetize those videos.
But
that's
But see, that is YouTube's problem.
Yeah,
Coke's
exactly.
problem is like, I don't want to be associated with it. I'm pulling my.
Yeah.
And Coke will be back when they sort their shit out.
Yeah.
Because that's money.
Well, YouTube.
Because here's the other reason why.
Had a problem with that,
because Coke ultimately needs to go where people's eyes go.
Mm-hmm.
People's eyes aren't going to magazines and anymore. They go to YouTube. They go all over the internet. So Coke, the money will be back.
Mm-hmm.
This is just a temporary bump in the road.
What
you have to worry about is YouTube policies.
Oh yeah.
When they
that's
come
the
back,
problem.
because that's what a lot of them do. Like, when something's broke, so they use that reset as a chance to fuck you in other ways too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, we'll throw this in the agreement now too. So that's against.
Yeah, YouTube's the biggest problem.
Yeah, and realize now YouTube is also pushing that red shit.
Mm-hmm.
They're crappy.
Oh my God.
They're crappy pay for your app, which makes
dumb.
no sense. And why would you?
And like, there's like it's like, if you buy this, you can listen to it while the screen's off on your phone or something. I'm like,
which is annoying.
It's
That
YouTube
should be the basic function of any fucking app.
It's YouTube.
Why should you? I disagree. I don't even think you should have to pay for that function. That is bullshit.
Yeah.
That is one of the. We're gonna strong arm you with the crap to buy our shitty app.
Primary function.
And what that app company doesn't realize is we get that all fucking day from every app. So stop nickel and diming us for shit you should already be able to fulfill.
They're just
I get pissed, goddammit, I get pissed. There's a lot of shit you gotta put up with when you're driving. It was fun watching those over the weekend.
Yeah.
We were watching George Carlin, folks. All right, let's wrap the show up. We've done like a 20-minute post.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was very nice. We want to thank Mr. Zinna from coming down. Did I say his name right? Yeah, Zinna.
Yes.
And his very handsome, the very handsome Pelle. Who was, the stud. Pelle, the stud muffin. Hey, ladies and gentlemen out there, there's one reason alone to vote for
Pelle
is for Pelle, because you get to see more of him.
Soccer legend Pelle.
Yes.
Brazilian soccer legend. That guy.
Yes, and you know how the Simpsons treated him?
Yeah.
He would show up and they'd give him a big sack of money. And they would put his name on something.
He's Pele.
Yes, essentially they were saying, he's like Trump, just smear his name on shit. Wow, this is actually has been the least Trumpian show, so. All right, folks, we'll leave you with this.
We could be infested with these things, so we gotta keep an eye out for any zany, wacky characters that pop up.
Ooh-wee! Whatever you want, Rick. We're here to help.
Thanks, Mr. Poopy Butthole. I always could count on you.
Later, everybody.
Yep, bye-bye.
Later.
crushing juggernaut.